I'm Greg Jossi with Morning Line. Today we are investigating Fundacion Paraguaya, a nonprofit organization from Paraguay aimed at eliminating poverty. They have developed a revolutionary tool to help individuals and families evaluate their poverty situation in order to more effectively target specific aspects of their lives within categories like housing, income, education, and culture. The tool is called Poverty Stoplight, and they are considering implementing the tool in East Palo Alto, California, which has been facing unique struggles as a town with significant poverty surrounded by highly developed Silicon Valley. For example, the unemployment rate in East Palo Alto, to get a picture of the poverty there, is 42% higher than the national average, while meanwhile the median rent is 51% higher than the national average. Also, 61% of the population is Hispanic or Latino, many of whom do not speak English. So there is a language barrier that prevents them from pursuing some of the opportunities that may otherwise be available. And to get a better picture, last week I spoke with Kirsty, a resident of East Palo Alto. And let's go to that. So I'm here with Kirsty of East Palo Alto, a resident here. And Kirsty, tell me about what the biggest struggles are here in East Palo Alto that you and the residents here face.
Well, it's just really a struggle. Like, housing is crazy expensive, and none of us have like good enough jobs that like can afford to pay for the housing. And I just really think that if I could get some more education, then I'd be able to get a better job and actually afford to live where I live rather than, basically the shed I'm living in now.
So tell me about this location here. How much would someone pay for rent for a place like that?
That thing, I pay about $3,000 a month in rent for that shed.
And how much are you making per month, if you don't mind me asking?
It depends on the month. I mean, currently I'm actually unemployed, just in and out of jobs, so
definitely a rough situation, one that we could really use some help for. Greg Jossi here, talking today about Fundacion Paraguaya and potential partnerships that we can make with them to combat poverty in the East Palo Alto area. Today we're speaking with 3 different organizations. First, today we're talking with Greta Libert from the Rosalie Rendu Center. Greta, good to have you here.
Thank you for having me. I'm excited.
If you could tell me briefly just what your organization does to help impoverished families in the East Palo Alto area.
Yeah, so at the Rosalie Rendu Center, we have 2 main goals. The first one is to help teach English as a second language to people who either know a little bit or absolutely know nothing, so they're really just starting from the really basic level. And then the other is we work with families to help mentor them and help empower them so that they can build a brighter future for themselves.
Okay. And what's the criteria for someone to enroll in your programs?
Actually, there's not much that someone has to do to qualify. Basically, if they're any adult wanting to learn English, then they qualify.
Excellent. And how does your organization measure performance or progress?
So that's something that's a little more difficult, right? You can give someone an assessment to see how well they learned English, and that's what we do. We do give them an assessment at the end of the course. But when it comes down to it, we have to figure out a way to measure their growth, not only in English, but also in the mentoring program, to see if they are able to kind of get back up on their feet, find a job, or if they already have a job. One thing that we really focus on is helping them figure out how to move upward in that job. So for example, we have women who clean houses for a living, and we've had several who have been able to move forward and now supervise other women who are cleaning houses, and that's an awesome way that we see that they are truly growing and looking to improve their career.
Excellent. That's very important to people in the area. Thank you so much for being with us today.
Thank you.
And now, second, we have Cedric from LinkedIn. Cedric, welcome.
Happy to be here.
Thank you so much. LinkedIn, obviously a huge player in the Silicon Valley area, in the tech industry. Tell me about what LinkedIn has done in the past to address the issue of poverty in the Silicon Valley area.
Well, I mean, the main things that we've done some various things like, ran some soup kitchens, charity walks. I feel that the primary thing that we've done is mostly just sponsored events to help with the funding. That way they're able to put on the events themselves, different organizations.
Great. And tell me a little bit more about the culture within LinkedIn and how that could work with Fundacion Paraguaya.
Definitely. Well, within the culture in LinkedIn, we're very goal oriented. So when we have a mission, we really strive to achieve it. We go all in just to achieve that. So from what it sounds like with your mission with Fundacion Paraguaya, I feel that, having two goal-oriented and mission-focused companies working together would be a great way to get rid of poverty.
Absolutely. And what value do you feel that LinkedIn could provide for Fundacion Paraguay?
And definitely, I think just like I said before, most of what we do is we'll sponsor events. Occasionally, we can have our employees go and help at those events, but we can provide financial resources to sponsor events such as soup kitchens or poverty spotlights within East Palo Alto.
Okay, good. Well, thank you for being with us. Definitely, LinkedIn has some corporate social responsibility that they're working with in the Bay Area, and we appreciate that.
Yeah, definitely.
Today we are here with Neil from EPA Can Do. Neil, welcome.
Thanks.
Tell me a bit about your mission at EPA Can Do.
So, we've really realized that one of the most difficult things for residents of EPA or of East Palo Alto is that
Or EPA.
yeah, that's why it's EPA. It's
That's right.
EPA East Palo Alto. Is that they're struggling to find housing. Whether you're in lower class or in middle class or even upper middle class, a lot of these people are struggling to find housing that can go and really meet their needs. And so what we try and focus on is helping people to recognize where their own weaknesses are and where the system's weaknesses are. So we help with property management, we help with housing development, we help teach classes and provide financial counseling for people to better understand what's out there and for us to be able to provide to people who may not understand housing that they can go and live in and rent from and be able to buy as well.
Excellent. And so tell me about your clientele.
Yeah, so our clientele are actually kind of more middle class. Surprisingly, you find that a lot of people, they go through this struggle. We refer to the GAS stress syndrome symptoms, where you first have this alert of, I'd really like to go and get a house. Like, that is the American dream. I'm 30-something. Like, it's time for me to move on with, like, my life. And then they look around and they realize this is a lot more difficult than I thought. They show up for an open house, first day, first opportunity, and there'll be 10 people there even when they arrive on time, already trying to go and buy it and place bids on it. And so if you don't have all your ducks in a line, it's a struggle. You don't really know what to do. And what we find is that that final step of the process is that they reach exhaustion, because oftentimes it's not as much whether they have their ducks in a line or not, it's that they don't even know what ducks to have in a line. And so what we really are able to focus on is helping people to understand what is credit, how do I use it, how do I develop good credit. People have been refused oftentimes from getting a house because they don't have a loan already ready by the time the house is ready. And so even if they might be able to get a loan within a couple of days, the house is already sold. So we try and help people understand what are the things you need to go and get in order before even searching for a house, because you can't be looking for that after you're out looking in the open house market.
Definitely. So I really appreciate the organizational culture that each of those organizations show. And I think they're a really good match for Fundacion Paraguaya, and their goals really align quite well. Specifically the Rosalie Rendu Center, I think they can really help with education initiatives that Fundacion Paraguaya undertakes, specifically with their English classes. I think that can really help, especially with the Hispanic population that's so prevalent there. LinkedIn, I think they're a great partner, being that they can sponsor events, they can raise awareness and raise funding for other specific initiatives that they take. EPA Can Do, also a great partner specifically for housing for those in poverty. So I think, again, that their values really are a good match for Fundacion Paraguaya. So until next time on Morning Line, I'm Greg Jossi.